and his evasiveness to answer questions on why can you not win the big game. His go-to is, why do we keep going through this narrative? It's like, hey, BK, the reason we keep going through the narrative is because it keeps happening. Man, tell me something about that. And if you want to rip on them, I'll take it, and I'll be happy about it.
To a much lesser degree for Brian Kelly, we can compare the deer in the headlights look that he has to such questions. And I saw his response. I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw the same soundbite on ESPN tonight that Jim Harbaugh has in answering the questions, why can't you beat Ohio State? I think Brian I think Brian Kelly is basically, he has analyzed the situation. He's analyzed what these upper echelon teams have done that are in front of him. He's tried to copy that. He's been successful in some areas of the team. They have gotten so much better in terms of strength and conditioning on the defensive side of the ball. He's built elite offensive lines. He has upgraded, again, speed on defense. Where they're lacking is speed on the perimeter at wide receiver. That's the number one. And this particular team did not have great cornerback play. So he's upgraded it. And so it's shown that instead of going 10-2 and 9-3 and then 10-2 again, and maybe having that lucky year where they went to the BCS championship game in 2012, and then having that year that they've finally gotten to a place where they're really good. But that is such another mountain to climb to reach the teams that we're talking about, that I think he's probably getting a little frustrated thinking, what do I have to do? I don't know if we can do it. We're running a really good program. He's better than 125 of 130 teams in the country, and certainly has the advantages of being at Notre Dame. But he may get to the point where I think Jim Harbaugh is, where he's beating his head against the wall to say, I don't have any other answers. I'm doing the best I can. I'm getting in the best players I can. He's a football coach. He knows where they lack, even though, as you know, 2 years ago after they lost to Clemson by 27 points, he was saying, talent's not an issue. We've got as much talent. We've closed the talent gap. Just he made an excuse. This happened here, and then this didn't go right for us, and suddenly it's a 30-3 loss. Well, teams that are that close in talent aren't losing 30-3.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I would say, like, the real problem for Notre Dame is they have some really good football players on some positions, but Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson have really good football players at every position. That's the real difference.
Yeah, like Notre Dame has these two players on defense, and I'm going to botch the one for as much as I've watched him play. I can't believe Owusu.
JOK. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah, there you go. Owusu-Koramoah. And then you also have the safety, Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton.
Yes. On offense, all you need to do to detail the gap between the elites and Notre Dame offensively is say, who are the best players on Notre Dame's offense in terms of skill position players? The best players are the offensive linemen, actually. They go to the NFL in high draft picks. The best players from a skill position player on the Notre Dame offense are the tight ends. Well, your tight ends shouldn't be your main weapons. They should be complementary weapons. They shouldn't be your best players on offense, your tight ends. They're not going to break the big plays and be game changers in the passing game. They're good, they're complementary, and certainly they've been extremely good there. And Mayer and Tremble are tremendous, but they're not going to put up Devontae Smith kind of numbers like, 8 catches for 175 yards. They're going to give you the 4 catches for 72 yards. Well, that's probably a little high. So that tells you a lot right there when your best players are your tight ends on offense.
Yeah. And they've got Javon McKinley, 88.
Sure.
But I watched a segment with Jesse Palmer, and Jesse Palmer showed 5 different plays against Clemson second game, and Ian Book, he was illustrating that guys are open, but Ian Book never found them. I mean, I think the game's too fast for him, and obviously he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but he's afraid to make those chancy passes. I think for failure, and anyway, he's gone. We got a guy named Tyler Buckner who was a 5-star at one point, and he fell back to a 4-star. But anyway, man, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that's always going to be the norm. I think as long as Brian Kelly's there, and I'm not looking for him to get fired. It's okay to be win 10 games in a season, and you don't get to the promised land, but at least you're not getting your face shoveled in every game either. So, with all that said, Mark, thank you so much, and I would like to say this to you and everybody in the side chat. Mark, you have been a miracle worker for me in this COVID challenging period of time. I had some dark moments until I was able to find your show, and I finally had something to look forward to. Always look forward to chatting with you, your emails, your text messages, because just by myself. And I found out, like when I had my heart attack, that the women there in the hospital told me that they had too many people with mental issues stemming from the COVID-19. But you have been a lifesaver for me, and I thank you very much.
David, it's always an honor to talk to you, and I appreciate so much your support. And thank you so much for showing up here and finding us, because you've been a godsend. No question about that, sir.